安心する。好き。
え？今、好きって、え？
You can't be in a rom-com with your childhood friends, yada yada yada. We just got done watching episode number 6, and my friends, after watching the show and episode 6, you're gonna be in one of two camps. And before I really share my opinion, regardless of which camp you're in, there's not really a wrong answer, but it is going to really depend on your enjoyability of the show, depending on if you're gonna stick with the show, and just your overall thoughts. So on one hand, one camp is gonna have found episode 6 to be really funny and really charming, and it was a hoot and a laugh, and man, the MC he's just a funny guy and he just can't hold it in, right? Virgin boy, yada yada, right? That's one camp over here, which I think, you know, depending on your sense of humor, I could totally see. As we continue to watch some of these shows, there's just a particular sense of humor that a lot of these are written for. And if that's yours, first off, that's totally fine. But it's definitely like it tickled your fancy. On the other hand, over here, the second camp is where I'm at right now. And that's going to be at the end of the episode. You found the episode to be annoying, not funny, and the MC is just like, you just want to baby shake him. You know what I mean? And that's kind of, maybe you're in one part of that camp. Maybe you just didn't find it funny, whatever. But this episode it was so incredibly annoying. So we have Eiyu the whole entire episode. They go on the beach episode. And frankly, he kind of ruins the beach episode vibe, right? We're getting some top tier fan service from all three of the girls. And he, you know, up until, let me just give you an exact time. The first, he gets a nosebleed at 6 minutes and 41 seconds. And that's because our girl Akari, she goes in and she pushes him into the water. He was basically at like right at the sand where the water is, and it was so dramatic. It looked like she pushed him into the abyss. But she pushes him into the water, and at that point he admits to them that he's embarrassed, and they poke fun at him for the rest of the time there that he's embarrassed. But then he actually starts having fun. He does the watermelon stuff. They run around, you know, they splash each other, you know. I think what else did they do? Oh yeah, they shared a picnic, they fed each other. So he ended up letting loose and having a good time with his friends, which is what he should have done to begin with, you know. But the whole entire first 6 minutes, he's just kind of telling us like, you know, I can't look at them and I'm holding myself back, and it's just too much for me, and etc, etc. And the whole time, like, dude, as a fellow man who was once a boy, who went through puberty as well too, like, I get it. Puberty it hits hard, and, you know, love girls long time, but man, like, it's taken up 125%. Like, he just takes, like, they wrote him to take things way too far, and his communication skills are just bottomed out, absolute zero. So then he finally is like, okay, I can finally have fun. So he has fun, and then he has his moments with Akari. They get left behind because they missed the bus because he was trying to carry all this stuff. Later on in the episode, suddenly that weight isn't weighing him down at all, and so much so he's even able to carry Akari and all this stuff with no problem. Again, it's just weird choices the show makes, or the director made of the anime or whatever, but like, it makes weird choices. And eventually, so anyways, that happens. So they get left behind. And again, his communication is just in the dumps, right? He sees her acting one way and then acting another way. And he could just basically ask her, he's like, he could just communicate to her of like, in one moment you're saying pull me close, and the other moment you're saying leave me alone. Like, what's going on? Just take 2 minutes to have a, I get it, having a mature conversation at 16, 17 years, I get it, it's hard. But just do it. Like, oh my God, it's just so frustrating. So anyways, she accuses him to patronize him. And through hints and conversation, she realizes that he still does care about her. And her communication, to be clear, isn't like top tier either, right? She's convinced that he changed at some point, that, you know, in middle school, she's been, the reason that she started acting the way she does, because in middle school, he basically told her that he couldn't walk home with her anymore, and that hurt her feelings. So what she should say is, hey, in middle school, you didn't want to walk home with me anymore. That hurt my feelings. You know, so he can own up to that. So, okay, they don't. They have some weird conversation, and it's pretty boring. And it's so pussyfooty. And the definition, just for those, because I use this word a lot, and I just want to provide the context to it. So, to pussyfoot around is, as described by the dictionary, is to act in a cautious or non-committal way. So an example that they have for the dictionary is, I realized I could no longer pussyfoot around. So they pussyfoot around constantly, to where it's like, oh, they speak in code, you know? And you as the audience, it's like, it's just like, nobody does that. You know what I mean? To this level sometimes. So they couldn't make it back to town. Instead of getting them an Uber, or instead of getting them like a taxi, they get them a hotel for the night. Like, I don't know how far they were from where they were staying, but they get them a hotel, right? Again, instead of a taxi or an Uber or something, they get them a hotel, which I guess is cheaper than like an Uber. They end up taking the bus the next morning anyways. And our boy misses the bus again, apparently. I don't know. Anyways, they were left behind, so they get a room for the night. And they're having dinner and stuff. And again, all the words that they should be saying to each other are just happening inside each other's head. And she's acting it's super evident. She's blushed. She's acting shy. You know, she's acting tender. And they share some moments. And eventually, like, oh, I'm going to go to sleep. He moves his futon, leaves the lights on. I don't know, makes weird decisions. Again, just super annoying stuff. And then she ends up cuddling up to him. And she says, like, I don't like it when you're bratty. So finally some communication's happening here, right? I don't like it when you're bratty. I just want to be close to you, whatever. So he turns around and he hugs her, or he cuddles her, right? That's a perfect moment to, okay, we're finally done with all the bullshit. Let me actually communicate. Let me hold you tight and have some communication. You don't just hold a girl tight like that. And you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to lead to something, but you know, come on now. She ends up saying, I love you before they fall asleep. He overreacts, you know, 9 ways to Sunday once again. In the morning, overreacts again. Instead of communicating once again, he has a weird moment. She gets left behind. She runs away basically. And then he gets left behind, and then nothing happens. So it's a whole nothing burger of an episode. So the fan service is ruined by not being funny. The fan service is ruined by a crap MC. The tendered moments are ruined by an MC who can't communicate. It's overdramatic. The one win of a moment is ruined because he can't capitalize on it. And then the ending is her running away in the morning. Like he just had a one-night stand with a girl he's never going to talk to again. It's just such an annoying show, bro. And it's so unrealistic. And I get it, it's fiction. It should be unrealistic, but like, it's annoyingly unrealistic. It's like to the 100th degree of unrealism. And it's all because it all could be fixed if they just have a 5-minute conversation. But, you know, of course, if they do, the show's done at that point, right? He picks one, he has a 5-minute conversation, he figures out who matters most to him. Even if they just had a 5-minute conversation with themselves, like, okay, I'm in love with my childhood friends. I need to figure out who I love the most. You know, if I close my eyes, who do I see? Okay, it's Shio. I'm gonna go 100% after her. If she denies me, we're no longer friends. It is what it is. Runa, Akari, whatever girl. I don't know. 5 out of 10, bro. This is a 5 out of 10. I just can't anymore. Like with this show. Anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully it gets better. I don't know. The dark-skinned girl should be coming in pretty soon too. So we'll see how that plays out. All right. One love, y'all. Peace.